Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, YouTube, anywhere these clips are going to go live, and all of that goody good stuff. Welcome to 412 Productions, The Art of Monty Anderson. I am your host here, Monty Anderson, of course. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the broadcast. Today's title is The Storms of Life. When storms of life happen, what do you do? You know, all those goody good stuff. Because we all have things that happen in our lives on a regular basis that sometimes we don't talk about, sometimes we don't, um, you know, put out there for the world to see. So storms of life happen on a regular basis, and it's one of those things. Do we publicize it, or do we hold it internally and just deal with it as a family? Most of the time, that's the later is what happens most of the time. It is 4:13 in the morning. We started this broadcast at 4:12 for 412 Productions. I think that's the time I'm going to go all live from now on, unless I just happen to oversleep, and then it won't happen until 4:30. But whatever. It's my damn show. I'll do what I damn please. So, welcome to the show, everybody. We're going to talk about all kinds of different things today, but normally this is a show for fandom. It is about comic books. It is about movies, especially comic book movies, horror movies, and science fiction movies, over the drama movies and things of that nature. Boring. Thrillers, action, those type of things. We also talk about comic books. We talk about my comic books and my artwork and all that good stuff. So just be on the lookout for my stuff coming out. Now, when I'm talking about storms of life, I'm talking about all kinds of different things. You could have, um, you know, your own personal family things happening. People being sick or in the hospital or whatever. And then you've also got the other side of it where it's just you personally. You're dealing with things. You are you know um, trying to figure life out. Why does life keep dumping this shitball on top of me on a regular basis, or whatever the case may be. Why don't I have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a husband or a wife at this point in time in my life? Those type deals. So storms of life come aplenty, on a regular basis, and so it's just how you navigate those storms of life. Do you are you good at navigating those life situations, or is life tough for you on a regular basis? Because if life is tough for you on a regular basis, it's time to change the circumstance. You know, I see so many negative people on a regular basis. It's not even funny. They can never see the good in anything that's happening out there in their life. And, and it's kind of sad that they cannot pinpoint the good things. I could be negative on a regular basis. My yard looks like shit right now. I've got wood piles everywhere. But you know what? All those wood piles are going to diminish because that's building material for something else that I'm working on. Like right now, I'm building my new chicken coop. I am two walls down so far on my new chicken coop. The frame is up. The structure is good. Uh, it's going to have, you know, the 1 foot down so that predators cannot dig underneath. All that good stuff. And this little compound that they're in is a fortress. I mean, it's a 12 by 12 space, um, and then it's going to have pretty thick walls so that animals cannot penetrate the walls. So just by chewing on it, those type of things. But then the fence that's around it is a compound fence all of its own. It's made out of um, uh, drywall pallets, and these things are about 175 pounds a piece, and they are uh, 1 by 6s, I believe, on the boards, and it's double sided with 1 by 6, with about a 3 by 3 block that separates it all. And so you're going to be a werewolf to get through this fence, 100%. We don't have any werewolves right here in this area. Now I know other parts of the world have werewolves on a regular basis, but right here for us, we don't have werewolves. So, but please like, share, and follow if you aren't already, and please go up here, bum, 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 go to my website, and you'll find my 412 Productions, the Art of Monty Anderson logo, which is our alien logo. Um, I have one printed out somewhere, but it'll look like this right there on the website. So once you get to the website, underneath that logo, you will find all my other socials, which is Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and you're already here on TikTok. You can follow me on all my other socials there, and I would appreciate it. And I appreciate the like, share, and follows here on TikTok as well. So, but back to the fence. This fence is double high. So the first layer of fence is probably 5 foot tall ish, maybe a little bit over five. I actually didn't measure these pallets. And then I've got some normal pallets on top of that. So that's another 4 foot on top of that. So if these are 5 foot pallets, then that's, a 4 foot pallet on top of that, that's 9 feet. Which I really don't think it's 9 feet because I'm 6'2", and I think it might be closer to 7 foot, 7.5 foot, maybe closer to 8. So I've got about an 8 foot tall fence where my chicken coop is going to be sitting from now on. And then you've got the 12 by 12 coop with 1 by 8s or 1 by 6s for the whole coop itself. That's the main build. Is 1 by 6s. It's either 1 by 6 or 1 by 8, but I think it's 1 by 6s. And so that's the frame of this chicken coop. So not only do I do artwork and have my own art projects coming out and up, I also homestead, and that's why I'm talking about chicken coops right now. And then the storms of life, all this wood laying around. Some people see it as, oh, you just trashed your yard. Well, no, all this building material that's laying here was free lumber for me. I just had to go do the work, tear the deck down, and put it, right there in my yard so that I can transfer it out there to the chicken coop because it's a lot of great building material. Now there's some shit wood in it, yes, that I've already separated out for a burn pile, and so from there that'll go to my fire pit, and then in my fire pit it'll just be burned off, you know. And that's what you do out here in the country is you burn stuff, you know. But you burn the right stuff. You burn the stuff that burns. You don't throw trash in there and shit like that, like a lot of people I see do. And no, that goes in the wastebasket, and you throw it away, and you have the trash company come and overcharge you for picking up trash that they only pick up certain trash. They don't get out of their vehicle and pick it up like other places do. I hate our trash company. That's a storm of life right here. That's a bad topic. So, with all that being said, we pick up some new stuff on a regular basis. Like right now, I'm looking for a new Army veteran hat for myself. I did pick up a new one. This is just a U.S. Army hat, and it's a cool hat, but it's not my veteran hat that got destroyed when it got washed. Because I wear my hats on a regular basis, and not on a regular basis, but like yesterday, I didn't wear a hat. But when I'm outside working, I always have a hat on, for the most part. Because, when you get older, your hair starts to thin out a little bit. And from there, you get a sunburn on top of your head. So that's a storm of life. Got an itchy scalp? It's from the sunburn. But no. So I am looking for another Army veterans hat. I do have my combat infantry hat, which is still great. And I still love wearing it. And we already talked about the 1996. Is that when these were? Yes, 1996. Been done. Warrior on Ariella action figures that I picked up. This was one of my favorite comics back in the day, Warrior Nun Ariella. It was unfortunate that he had to sell it for medical expenses for his wife, but you got to do what you got to do when the moment arises. And that was an entity that he could sell off, and he does regret selling that product, that merchandise right there, because that was a good one. And the company that bought it has not done it justice. You know, they just use the Warrior Nun portion of it. They don't use Ariella anymore. And so, it's sad. It's sad that they don't continue on with her. Now, the other thing that I picked up, which is very, very cool and will help me out at conventions and things of that nature, comic book conventions when I get back into them in 2026, is this little box right here. This little box is not just a little box. It holds 1,800 cards. And right here, you can see what's in the box. So, one of it, and I'll just open it up for you. It's a magnetic seal over here. And there you go. That's what's inside the box. Absolutely nothing right now. And so, whenever it boils down to it, I can take my. Oh, they're there. I was going to say, I'm going to take my. Oh, shit, they're not here. But they're there. I will take my cards that I've drawn up on official license, like Dawn 30th anniversary, right there. Congratulations. It is not signed. Whenever people buy these, I sign them, directly. So I'll get that glare off of there. This is one of the Dawn cards that I designed, right there, from the Dawn card set. And so what will happen is these will go in there, and then from there, I can take these cards out of the protective sleeve right here, and I can slide it down into this little spot right here so people can see what's there without having to display the whole thing. I can have them displayed inside this little spot right here, and it holds up to a 35-point card, which this is the normal size card, the 35 point, if you don't know what that means. And that way I can put out whichever one I want and be like, and I can even put the backside out there just like this. This one was already signed because these had to go back to the company, and then they sent back, what they wanted us to keep, as our artist proofs. And so I can put either the back side out there, or I can put the front side out there, which is the better side. Do you want to see that it is an official license piece, or do you want to see the artwork? Most people just want to see the artwork, and to hell with what company it's for. But so I do have tons of different ones, just like this entire thing right here of blanks. This is all the card sets that I've worked on over the years. And so you've got all kinds. You got Transformers. You've got Puppet Master, which was a super fun one for me because my artwork got displayed in the Kickstarter. That was pretty awesome. And then I do, Magic the Gathering blanks as well. So there's all kinds of different things. This is the rune cards. I have a whole slew of these running around. Fallout, right there. I hated this one, to be honest. I really did hate this one, just because you made one design, and it was technically three different designs. So I had three different designs, and then you had to replicate that 10 times. So you were doing 30 cards, but you were only doing three designs. So you had to replicate that on all of the 10 cards per design. That's why I hated this one. This one I hated. Chasing Amy was a fun one. Yes, the official Chasing Amy with Ben Affleck and all that good stuff. Avengers Medal, right there. Of course, you already saw the Dawn. This is one of the puzzle cards right here that I designed. It's not finished yet, so I plan on finishing it up. I'm going to show it to you in its full glory right there. puzzle card, what they call a puzzle card. Red Sonja, She Devil, right there. So you see the Red Sonja on the front, and then the Red Sonja on the back. She Devil with the sword, but this one was just She Devil. And then Red Sonja 50th anniversary. Totally blank front on this one, but you get the whole 50th anniversary right there. And then, of course, Chaos Comics, which you already saw some of those. Well, I didn't actually show them, but they're there. And it's got the little Chaos on the front. The 25th anniversary, not owned by Brian Paluto anymore. And then Dynamite, which was their zombie series through Dynamite Entertainment. Again, right there. And this one is just an artist proof card for another Viceroy, um, artist choice Viceroy comics, or Viceroy cards, not comics. But then there's a whole slew of other ones from, a collector's marketplace, if you will. I need to put all those back in there. With this section over here. So there was a theme deck with some artist peoples out there. And, so I ended up picking up several. Like dinosaurs right here. Which was a fun one. I did several of these. Right there. And then monsters, I picked up a ton of these because I'm a big monster fan. So, and that's any monster. One that's in your mind, one that crawls out from under your bed, those type things. Whatever scares you at night. These are really thick cards. So, but I picked up a ton of monster cards right there. And then there's the front. It says Rise of the Monsters. And then, of course, the first one that I picked up, which was Science Fiction from the Cosmos. Right here. Again, thick cards, nice stock. Love the paper. But any science fiction creature that you want or person would be on these cards right here. And then you get the certificate of authenticity, basically, that it is a one of one piece right there. So, those I have the opportunity to put in this box and get rid of this little piece of shit. It is a great little card holder, but, they're pretty worthless in the realm and scheme of things when it comes down to it. So, but, I can put my Walking Dead cards in there. Yes, The Walking Dead. Congratulations from AMC Tops. And not the funny thing, but the nice thing about these cards is that the character that actually portrayed the characters in the TV show, not movie, got to look these over to approve them as a yes or no basis. So if yours didn't get approved, then that got the X, and um, you had to redo them or redo that card. So that was the cool thing about these cards on The Walking Dead. And I did, I think, four or five sets of Walking Dead, different ones. Road to Alexandria. Um, let's see. I'm trying to think. Because some of them had what they were on the back, and then others didn't. Yeah, most of them didn't. And I've already sold out of one set that I worked on. So, that was pretty cool. And some of these are shit, in my opinion. Because whenever I first started, this was my first set. These are the last two of this set right here. These are shit. Andrea and Beth right here. I didn't know what I was doing because I had just seen other artists that were working on these things. And it was like, well, how'd you get into that? And they were like, well, here's your information. And they didn't tell me, what was best to work on these with, if painted was best, or colored pencil, or straight up marker, or anything like that. So it was a learning process for me. And this being my first set back in 2017 sucked ass. Okay, I hated these, when I finished them, but they accepted them and we went on. Now I've sold, the other three that I had from this set, and it's just like I don't know why. The second set was a little better, not 100% better. Actually, I think this is my third set. The second set I've sold out of completely. This was my Road to Alexandria set, and I still have most of these left. But Michonne, right here, started getting a hair bit better. Abraham, get that glare off up there. I gotta figure out. There we go. Herschel, the death of Herschel, one of the big death scenes in the show. King Ezekiel and Shiva. I'm kind of surprised this one is still in my hands, to be honest, because this is the better card of them all. Is the Tiger. And that was my third set. This is my fourth set, and this one got way better because I was figuring it all out. You had Fat Joey. The red indicates that they're dead. Simon. Tyrone. Negan. Jeffrey Dean Morgan. And Miss Cohen or Maggie. Blue indicates they're still alive. Because as we know, Dead City with them in it is still going strong. But then of course Stranger Things, all of these, the Chaos Comics one with, and the reason I have these is because it was like, oh, you can't use Lady Death because we do not own the rights to her. That's the only one. Lady Death is the only one that Brian Paluto got to keep. So I fucked that up and had to redo all these. Now the nice thing is, it was pretty easy to transition her over to Lady Demon that they still own, and it was basically Lady Demon is Lady Death just with horns and red skin. So it was an easy transfer over. Add a little tail and all that good stuff, and it worked out fine. Now, with that being said, I've got a ton of blanks that need to be in your hands, or buy one of these originals, that's already done up, and we'll go from there. Oh damn. Okay, there we go. Now everybody is in the right place. So I can do you up a custom one, or you can buy one of these that's already done. As you see, that's a massive stack right there of already made up ones. Now, all those will go in that blank box over there. And yes, it holds 1,800 cards, and I do not have 1,800 cards worth of stuff in here. But, that gives you an idea of, what I can do. And I can start putting my own cards in there because I am going to be having my own product cards to draw on. So it'll have my congratulations on the back that you've got a one-to-one of the artwork of me on the back instead of, somebody else's stuff on the back right there. So that'll be fun and exciting when that does happen. And that's part of what I'm doing for this year. This is a complete rebuild year for me. And when it comes to my business as 412 Productions, because I haven't always been that. January 1st was the kickoff of my new logo and my new practice of, creating new product to take to comic book conventions. So it's not all just the same old that you see when you go to a comic book convention, you know. And I'm hoping to break that barrier on certain things. It's just like, these pieces right here. These are more fun and interactive for people because, boom, now you've got a display piece. You got a display piece of artwork. I need to figure out how to put some sound to it so I can say, I want to play a game. Lately, you have been drinking too much. Those type things. But no. But you can put your keys on this. You can put your phone on it. You can put your markers and pens on it if you want to. If you keep it in your office, you can put your thumb drives on it. You're not going to scratch it up per se. You can scratch it up because it is sealed. And yes, this is on an actual saw blade right there. And Saw on a saw blade, Billy the Puppet from Saw. Yeah. And then, of course, Art the Clown with the art of art is what the base says right here. The art of art. And it looks like he drew it with blood. That's why it looks like this. And then here is on the saw blade as well, the Art the Clown piece right there. Bum, bum, bum. So there you have that. Now, Art Leon's Art the Clown. Right there. So, fun little interactive pieces that will be on display at the conventions from now on, as well as new ideas when it comes to the prints. The prints won't just be, 11 by 17 paper, here you go. You're going to have the option to get a, 11 by 17 canvas print of the artwork. And I'm going to pick and choose certain ones of my artwork that are already done now, plus new stuff that I'll be working on. Plus, I'm hoping to have a whole slew of new blank covers worked on by then as well. But as it stands right now, I am getting bombarded with work, which is awesome. But it's also taking me away from doing my own stuff, which means I'm not working on my comic book right now. I'm not working on new artwork for next year. I am not focusing on certain aspects that I should be focusing on, like getting prints made of certain merchandise right now. And with that being said, this is, one of my latest pieces, which is you need to go get it through Legacy Comics with an X, Comics with an X. And this is my cover to the job number 3 from that company. This is the original. This is the original canvas. I still have to paint the edge black, and I still have to seal it. So right now it is unsealed, but it will be sealed. And it's already got my signature on it and all that good stuff. But you can pick this up, or you can pick up a canvas print of this. I will be making canvas prints available. So this piece right here is $500 for this piece right here. But you can pick up a canvas piece for $120. So see how that works? You get a print of the actual artwork, but it's still on canvas for a lot cheaper price. So there you go. And and that's how it's going to boil down to several different artwork pieces. I just have to pick and choose which ones I want to make into canvas prints right now. Because in the past, I have made the mistake of making a print out of every piece of artwork that I've done. And pretty soon what I'm going to do is have you, the audience, pick and choose which one should be made into prints. Should this one be an 11 by 17 print? Should this one be a canvas print? I already know what some of them are going to be as far as canvas prints are going to be. Like my Jokers will definitely be canvas prints. My Chester Bennington will be a canvas print. My Weapon X will be a canvas print. My Dexter will be a canvas print. So I've already got several that are going to be canvas prints, including Venom. And so then it boils down to, okay, so if those are going to be canvas prints, what next will be a canvas print? Because I've already got my mind made up, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are already going to be a canvas print, out there, which isn't many in the grand scheme of things, but when it boils down to it, Janae, what do you want to see? But thanks for the comment. I've got my artwork right around here somewhere. I don't know where those canvases are right now. They might be. I don't know where they are. But I've got 3 portfolios of artwork. And which picture, Janae? Because I've got Dexter, I've got Chester, I've got the list. goes on and on. And give me just 1 second. I got unawake pig. So give me just 1 second, folks. Boom, we'll pull them out right here. Dun, dun, dun. We got all kinds of cool stuff that you guys can purchase. We're gonna show you. We're just gonna show and tell. Show and tell. All kinds of good things. going to start right here. Oop, I just blocked my light. I just blocked my light. Okay. So, oh, you want to see Dexter? Okay. I can do that. I can do that for you. But we're going to start with other things first. Give me my light source back. For sure, 100%. But right here, this is some of the stuff I do. This is on an action figure. This is artwork that I did on an action figure for the Demon. Etrigan the Demon. This is the McFarlane Toys version right here. And I did this artwork on it. Now, whenever someone buys it, I will autograph it, right over here in this little section or or somewhere on here. Right there. And then this monstrosity of a piece, the Venom on the Venom mech. So it's very cool. And then the Venom that one was based off of is right here. This one glows in the dark and under black light, so it's very cool. It needs to be in your house, not mine. And then she wanted to see Dexter. This is the massive piece, Dexter, right here. It's an 18 by 24 piece, all hand done on canvas. It is sealed and ready for your house. It just needs my signature on it. I'll pull out the other Dexter here in a minute. Let's see here. We got some American Psycho. The hatchet scene. Right there. We got, let's see, who else we got? We got the dual Michael Keaton versions here of Beetlejuice and 1989 Batman. Blacklight as well. Right there. So that looks cool under blacklight as well. And glows in the dark. Chester Bennington. Right there. And it is literally life size of Chester Bennington. If I put my hands up to it, it is an almost exact match. So this is basically life size of Chester Bennington right here. And then we've got a vampire. This is actually a fun one because this is a paint over. This is like a tattoo redo. The first one that was on here was a mouth with vampire teeth and blood coming off, and I hated it. And it never sold, so I just painted over the top of it and turned it into this little piece. A little vampire beauty right there with blood-stained teeth. All that good stuff. And then here's the Joker right there. One of the two. The other one's already sold. I'm surprised I still own this one, to be honest. But, here it is, and this one will be turned into a canvas print as well. Right there. This one is an 11 by 16? No, 12 by 16, I'm sorry. And it does have my one of one in here because there won't be another painting that even if I painted one like it, there won't be one even like it close. So, there you go. Now, there is those. Now, the other Dexter piece, if you are, Joanne, are you still here? I don't know if you are or not. But if you are, I can show you the other Dexter piece that I have, which is much cheaper than this one, by the way. This piece right here. This portfolio, I think is the one that's in. I could be completely wrong, and it might not be in this one. Yeah, it's not in this one. It's in my other one. This one has a lot of cool stuff in it, though. Yeah, definitely 100% the other one. Let's put it instead, shall we? These things are super heavy. Just FYI, there it is. There's the other Dexter piece right there that I'm going to turn into a canvas as well. Police line, do not cross behind Dexter's head. I changed this from just a normal to a bloody variant, if you will. And I have actually both of them that I could turn into a canvas print real easy of a normal and then the blood stained one, blood splatter, since he is a blood splatter expert and all that good stuff. So there you go, Joanne. There are the pictures right there. And if you want to see them again, or just hit me up, on DMs. If you're again, if you're still here, if you're not, you're not. I get it. Attention span is very slim anymore because I don't get people to stick around forever. I do get people to stick around for the whole show, which is very awesome, and I appreciate it 100%. But I understand too that my show isn't everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine because we talk about everything from here, from real life situations to comic book conventions, and my artwork, my comics coming up, uh, potential comics with other people, and children's books with other people. All kinds of different things. From movies to TV series to, especially if it's sci-fi, horror, or thrillers, or action. I'm not big on the whole drama and romance movies and things like that. Yes, I have a girlfriend that is, but and we do watch them. But it's just not like I'm oohing and awing over the show. You know, there's good heartfelt ones out there. I'm not gonna lie, but give me the blood, give me the sci-fi creatures and things of that nature, and I'm in my happy element. That you see a lot of people asking questions. What movie traumatized you the most that you will never watch again? Well, I'm still waiting to find one. You know, I haven't seen one yet that I wouldn't watch again. And once again, I'm hearing people are walking out of Final Destination Bloodlines because it's so bloody and gory, and they can't take it. And it's just like, then they're little bitches. I'm sorry, but you know, and I've heard that about other movies too that I've sat through, and it's just like I'm laughing through. You know, it's just like, why would you get up and leave from this movie? It's just I don't understand. I, it's like when the paranormal activities were just kicking off. You know, a bunch of military guys sitting in a movie theater on a little break from all the training we've been doing. We decided to go watch Final Destination, or not Final Destination, Paranormal Activity, the first one that came out. So that's how old it was. And we're sitting there, and the girl at the end, when she starts crawling towards the camera on the floor, and then her face changes into that skeleton face all of a sudden, jump scare right there. Yeah, it made the entire row in front of us jump almost into our laps as we're sitting there laughing, at this whole situation. And it's just like, why? Why are you that scared over that? It's not real, folks. This isn't found footage. This isn't, real life stuff happening here. Now, it could be real life for some people. Those type things can truly happen if you believe in that type of thing. And, I believe in a lot of different things. Bigfoot, aliens and UFOs, any type of cryptid you can think of. I live in a haunted house, and we talk about that on a regular basis. That's why I keep this handy. When I start hearing noises to go bump in the night in my office, I break this out. And I usually get some good EVPs. You know, I'm still getting some more ghost hunting equipment as well because I do have poltergeist activity that happens on a regular basis here at this house. I do not know the full story, the full history of what has happened here at this house and things of that nature, but you know, I one day hopefully will. Was it is this house put on a burial ground? Those type different things, but I don't know because I can't find a whole lot of history of the house. I do know it was built in the '60s, but what was the property prior to all that? Or what was the property around this house? Was it just straight up cattle field? Was it, you know, because behind us is OG&E owned property, so nothing is back there except trees and and open field spots. things like that. So that's why I keep a video or not a video, a recorder here in the office so that I can pick up any EVPs. And I picked up several in here, but you just can't make them out. They're not clear like you get on the ghost hunting shows and things of that nature. But one of these days I will get some good EVPs out of here, or maybe I'll be the next EVP out of here. you know. So, but no, there's a lot of stuff I believe in because I've seen it with my own eyes and um, or witnessed it. 100%. So, and if you don't believe in it, that's okay. I understand. You know, not everybody believes in Bigfoot. I've seen it. I'm trying to figure out what that noise was because the pig has settled down. Maybe she's at my door. I don't know. And I've seen Bigfoot. I've seen UFOs. I see the poltergeist activity that happens in my house on a regular basis. I see shadow people. I see full body apparitions. I see all kinds of stuff here at this house. Now, I've seen them pretty much since I was 10 years old when I first saw a demon. You know, and and yes, it was a straight up demon. It was not just oh your imagination or things of that nature. No, this was a straight up demon.